a guy who has independent thinking. We don't agree necessarily on certain things, but I can trust Dan to just not toe the company line or the government line, whatever the issue may be. I do appreciate that from him.
But that's why I like to open up phone lines, because guys like Dan from Oregon, this man thinks outside of the fucking box. I'm going to give him a little plug over here. Dan from Oregon over here. Go follow him on Twitter. Dan from Oregon. He has some interesting things. He puts a lot of effort and time into his thoughts. I think he smoked a lot of ganja when he thought about this.
What's up, sickos? This is your host, Dan from Oregon. My2Cents. And we all got news that Raging Al Iaquinta has just signed a new 4-fight deal worth approximately 3 times his previous pay. And I'm going to show you how we all got to this point.
The judges score the contest 29-28 Iaquinta, 30-27 Masvidal, and 29-28.
Let the record show I had Masvidal winning this fight.
Raging Al Iaquinta.
And the reaction was the same as George's corner.
Give me a minute now.
Jorge.
Give me just a minute. All right, well, the crowd doesn't like the decision. Just give me a minute here with Al Iaquinta. Congratulations, 4th consecutive win.
You're about to see the point when Al became the greatest heel in the UFC.
Congratulations, your thoughts on the fight.
Whatever, man. Well, are you guys booing me? Are you guys? You better not boo me. I fought my ass off. You. I fought my ass off tonight.
John Anik sucks.
Obviously, you had to dig deep after that first round. Your thoughts going into that second round? You felt like you had the cardio to hold up?
I'm good. I'm good.
Poor guy always goes in for a follow-up question. Ben Rothwell, the list goes on and on of John going back to ask questions that he shouldn't have.
And interesting when you get a 30-27 for one guy, 29-28 for another. Masvidal was the more accurate guy, very smooth, but it seems the volume of Al Iaquinta and the leg.
So after this fight, Al goes on a hiatus because he's riding, I believe, a 4-fight win streak. He ain't making shit. At this point, Sage Northcutt's paycheck is coming out, and it's showing how much he's making compared to all the other guys that are out there. A lot of UFC fighters were not happy about this, and Al was definitely one of them. Let's move on to the next video. Now, this is the Believe You Me podcast with Michael Bisping and Louis J. Gomez, the spinoff of The Countdown, which was on SiriusXM. This one's much better, uncensored, all that great stuff. Definitely go check it out on the Gas Digital Network.
Tweets, and they are laden with spelling mistakes.
Only audio here.
And by that, I'm not trying to insult his intelligence. I know for a fact he's done this after a few drinks. That is my assumption. Because
Hilarious.
now, listen. First and foremost, after the fight, he was talking shit about the UFC.
I skipped some stuff. They're talking about text messages, or sorry, tweeting that he was doing after a UFC fight because he wants to get his ass back in the cage. He just wants to make more money.
Stuff like that, and you know that's his opinion. That's his right. Whatever he wants to say. But I'm saying those tweets, in my opinion, after the fight, he's at home. He's like, fuck it, I'm out of training camp. I'm going to enjoy myself. He's having a few drinks, and he's taken to Twitter to vent some of his frustrations. That would be my assumption on that. He's also doing interviews. You know, he went on the MMA Hour on Monday, and he was talking about, you know, basically in a nutshell saying, fuck the UFC. They don't get behind me, and I don't need to fight. And, you know, listen, I like Al Iaquinta. I really do. I like the way he fights. He's very, very...
I got to put in my 2 cents here. Michael Bisping is the best paid fighter in the UFC. And it wasn't until the very end with his GSP fight where he said, I want my last fight to be my biggest payday because dude's a company man. Dude was putting in work for years. So in terms of what he says about the UFC and how much they get paid and how fair it all is, you got to realize this guy makes more than everybody else on the roster.
Very exciting. You know, he's a knockout artist. He brings a lot to the table. But he's not being the smartest man right now. You know, he's really not. I mean, he's saying he can go off and become a real estate agent and make more money. Fact is, you can't. There's more money to be made in the UFC. It's as simple as that. That's period. And Al has the potential to be one of those guys. He has the potential to be a champion and to go on and make a ton of money and be a fan favorite. But going up against the UFC and, saying fuck you, Dana, and stuff like that, it's just not smart. You know what I mean? It's just not. And I'm not saying you have to be an ass.
It's just not smart. That's what Bisbing will have you believe, at least. And here's Al. This is after his most recent fight. So he took, I believe, 2 years off basically, and then came back and fought Diego Sanchez. And I mean, sure, he said fuck you to Dana, but there's guys out there in the WWE, and that's their gimmick.
All right, I'm here with your winner, Al Iaquinta. Al, you said you prepared your card. It was the best it's ever been because you expected a war. How nice is it to come in here after
Goddamn, we miss you, Brian Stan.
2 years layoff and get a quick victory?
Ah, man, it's a dream come true. The UFC, I love you guys, but the sooner you realize I'm the man, the better we'll both be. Boo, yeah, boo, okay.
Sooner you realize he's the man, the better we'll both be, right? All right, let's take a look at Al. Here was Al's record. Beat Ross Pearson back in 14, Joe Lozon back in 14, Jorge Masvidal. That was that split decision. A lot of people did not have Al Iaquinta winning that fight, but regardless, he held out. He's got the win over Masvidal. He's got a win over Kevin Lee. Now a win over the legend Diego Sanchez. And what's the latest? Let's even delete this one. Shit. Bear with me, folks. All right, then this has just came out from Jedi Goodmans, where I read this on Twitter. Give him a follow. From ESPN, Iaquinta was able to get out of his old contract and sign a new 4-fight deal. His disclosed purse for the last fight was $52K, and his new one is worth 3 times the previous one, according to Al. So, because Al decided he's worth more than that, and I'm going to go become a freaking realty agent, go sell some houses, he was able to get basically his worth from the UFC. Not a lot of people are able to do that. I can think a few off the top of my head, and they all got one thing in common, really. They all got another gig outside of it. You got Al doing realty, you got Demetrius Johnson doing Twitch, and you got Stipe being a full-time firefighter. Those are guys that the UFC cannot touch. They can't push them around. They're not going to be your company men. And I just love to see the greatest heel in the UFC, Al Iaquinta, come back to the UFC. Wins his next fight. UFC 223 versus Paul Felder. That will definitely be on the main card. More content coming to you, sickos. Back to you guys. I'm out.